Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Active Love podcast. I'm Alyssa, and here with my mom, Heidi. And today we're with Lauren Anderson, who is an adoptive mom who has a very crazy adoption story that she has been so excited to
Well,
share with us. And we're
we're
excited to
excited to
hear
hear it.
it. So
Yeah.
thank you, Lauren,
Yes.
for coming on
Absolutely.
here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we're excited to hear your I would say probably like a roller coaster ride, it kind of sounded like.
Just a bit. I can definitely explain some of the roller coaster moments, the ups and the downs for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Okay, we're all ears. So you
Okay, cool.
start where you want to start and
Sure. So, my husband and I, we were married in 2011, and we had our first son, our biological son, in October of 2015. This is actually part of the backstory that I did not give you, which is part of
no.
what led us to adopt.
Mhm.
So, our son Braden was a 29-weeker. He was born very prematurely. I ended up having a very rare syndrome called HELP syndrome. It's a very rare, very widely unknown, what they think is a form of severe preeclampsia.
Wow.
And it really did a number on us and put him in the NICU for 8 weeks and put me in a lot of recovery. And after we recovered from all of that, and he had a very lengthy NICU stay, he ended up going to the PICU at Hopkins,
No.
having RSV and pneumonia. So we had been through a roller coaster with him
Yeah.
after birth. So after we settled down from all of that and he recovered and was finally doing well at about a year old, we went back to our doctor to talk about, what are the chances that we can have another child biologically? Because, this was quite a,
Mm.
traumatizing experience.
Yeah.
And basically my doctor said, like, no, you really should not consider having another child. At that point, it was pretty clear that my body had, kind of rejected sort of
Yeah.
the idea of bouncing back naturally from
Yeah.
childbirth. And she was like, the chances of you having that again are pretty high, and the chances of it being even more severe or even more of a preterm birth the next time would be even higher. And so basically, we made the decision not to have any more children, which led us both to grieve in different ways.
Yeah.
We grew apart. We did not talk about it. We saw some counseling and did some therapy. And eventually we came to prayer and came to God and realized that we were not on the same page and needed a lot of help and support. And we needed to reconnect and
Yeah.
understand what that journey did to both of us individually, as far as that was concerned, but then also as a couple.
Yeah.
Because when you go through childbirth, child loss, infertility, whatever it is that you go through, it's a grieving process,
Yeah.
and it does cause couples to need to reconnect in some sort of way. For us, it was through our faith. And so we each grew in that regard. I had been praying for a really long time to just be able to reconnect with my husband emotionally, spiritually, and receive more support from him because I was feeling very alone. For I think for women that can be very common.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, finally, when we reconnected, it was around really early 2020, right before COVID happened, to give you guys a sense of when in 2020 I'm talking about. He came to faith. He had a moment where he finally realized, like, I'm accepting this faith, and I'm realizing that I need this support in my life. And it allowed him to see me in a different way and allowed us to talk and open up to each other. And at that point, I had been praying for a really long time, and I was like, there's got to be some other way to grow our family. If it's something that's truly on my heart, and something that I really, really want, there's got to be a way to grow my family in a way that is, still in a healthy way for me,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
in a way that is honorable to our relationship, and still does it in a way where we can grow. So I had mentioned to him about adoption and surrogacy and some other areas. And, he was like, adoption, like, tell me more about that experience and, or like that research you've been doing. So
Yeah.
we talked a little bit about it. And then it was like, almost like this is it. Like, we want to adopt. And obviously this is a very broken down
Yeah. No,
version of this story,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
basically all what it is to say is that we came to the decision to adopt after experiencing the trauma of our first son's birth and going through that journey together and not connecting. And then the faith really drove us to adoption, because there's a lot
Yeah.
of themes of adoption in the Bible, and
There is. There's a
and
lot.
different, and like, giving you a child to love and those kinds of verses and things like that. So we started the process of researching. We're in Maryland, so we found a home study agency. At the time, my husband was in the military, so Military One Source ended up being a great resource for us to give us some basic research and links and ideas about who to contact for adoption. And then that's when COVID happened.
Yeah, totally.
So we had just started the research process, and then everything had shut down. No agency was prepared to go fully virtual yet because they were
Yeah.
still doing a lot of info sessions and things like that,
Yeah.
in person. But we just sort of jumped on board and we just started going through the process very quickly. Within 6 months, we were home study approved, and that was about the holidays, like November, like this time frame in
Yeah. Yeah.
2020. By the end of 2020, we had our profile book done and we were signing on with our first agency to start waiting. So within the first, I would say, 7 to 9 months, we were through the home study process, fully approved, waiting family, ready to be matched. And then that process really began, researching agencies that are in state and out of state. For us at that time, it was very much encouraged for us to consider waiting out of state. And the reason for that is Maryland is not a very adoption friendly state. Revocation periods are very long. I think 30 days is here in Maryland legally.
Wow.
And it's just not as much of a percentage of adoptions that occur in Maryland versus
Yeah.
other states.
Yeah.
So we ended up waiting and looking into agencies all around the country, but we were particularly focused in agencies in Florida, Illinois, Michigan, Utah, Nevada, Ohio, Texas, those states in particular were states we focused on. I think Georgia was another one, Alabama. So, states where predominantly more adoptions potentially happen,
Yeah.
and there's more an opportunity to be matched with a potential birth mom. For
Yeah.
us, with the trauma we had experienced, we wanted as low of a revocation period as possible. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure if your viewers are aware of what revocation means, but in
If you
basic,
want to explain it, you can, because
yeah,
I'm not quite sure that. I mean, if there's first time people who are adopting, they're not going to know
sure.
that.
Yeah, well, boiling it down, it basically means that the birth parent or birth mother or birth father had the opportunity to say, after they've signed termination of parental rights, which is TPR, they have the right to say, never mind, we would like to reconsider having this child back into our care.
Yeah.
It's not a simple like change your mind thing. Obviously, there's some legal processes that have to happen. They have to be able to prove that they have shelter and food and they can provide for that child, right? They can't just be
Yeah.
like, poof, like,
Yeah.
here's my
Yeah.
child back.
Yeah.
Obviously, anyone is going to obviously want to reunite with the biological family. That is always going to be number one priority because the biological ties are so important to keep strong.
Yeah.
And that's why open adoptions are so important.
Yeah.
But that revocation period for us was a concern.
Yeah.
Disruption was a concern. Birth parent expenses were a concern. Obviously, all those things, right?
Yeah.
So we were looking at states primarily with that as sort of adoption friendly mindset. We ended up matching about a year later with an agency in Florida. It's called Heart of Adoptions in Florida. And we matched with a birth mom who had very, very little prenatal care, pretty much no doctor records at all, only one scan from an ER visit. We didn't have really any history. But we were open to all of those things. We had been
Yeah.
approved to all of those things. We had prior NICU time with our oldest son. So
Yes. You
Mhm.
kind of, yeah, you've been
yeah,
there.
so we had some like medical experience, we had some terminology, we had some sort of idea of what we were getting ourselves into, and we
Yeah.
were prepared for the idea that like it was a potential that we could have a child in our home that could have some needs.
Yeah.
What we weren't prepared for was two. So the big
Okay.
kicker was, and this happened, this is real, like this is real. We ended up getting a call the day that they were born. My husband was already on his way to work. I was home with our oldest son. We were doing virtual pre-K at the time. And because it was 2021 and
Yeah.
he was in like preschool. And she said, "Are you both available to talk?" And Clay said, "Yeah, I'm actually on the way driving from work." And she said, "Well, I need you to pull over." And he goes, "Why?" And she goes,
Yeah.
"I need you to make sure you're both sitting down." And then we're like, "Okay, what's everything okay?" And she's like, "So mom gave birth, but there's two babies, not one." And we were like, "What?
Wow.
You're kidding, right? Like you're serious? You must be like you must like this was like literally like." the verbiage. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden she's like, no, I'm not kidding. Like there's two babies. And
Yeah.
I was like, are you serious? And I had her on speakerphone. So my oldest son heard it. So then I said, two babies, Braden is his name. I said, two
Yeah.
babies, it's Braden, it's two babies. He goes, Mommy. And I said, oh my gosh. And my husband's like, no way. Are you serious? And like, we were just like, so blown away. We
I
like
can't
this,
even imagine like what is
we,
going through your mind at that
oh
point.
my gosh, we were just, well,
Yeah. In your,
my first thought process was like, where'd the other baby come from? Because we had
Yeah.
one scan on record, but there was only one baby in that scan. So
Mhm.
like to this day, I always joke and I say, because one of our twins was a pound smaller than the other twin at birth. So I always
Uh,
joke and I say, Jackson was always hiding behind Matthew, is what I
yeah.
always say.
Literally. Literally.
That's what I say
Yeah.
now, but I don't know if that's true because it was in the ER. So who knows how accurate the scan really
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
But apparently it happens.
Yeah.
Apparently surprise twins happen. It ended up happening to us. We
Yeah.
were honestly, we were shocked. Um, I couldn't really make sense of it. The worst part about that process was we had no idea whether they were girls, boys, or one of each. We didn't
Hmm.
know the weights. We didn't know where they were. We didn't know how they were doing. We didn't know any, like they couldn't give us
Um,
any information because at that time, the agency doesn't have full legal custody of that child yet. The parent hasn't signed TPR
yeah.
yet. It has to be a certain amount of time before they can actually sign their
Yeah.
TPR.
Yeah.
So because of that, legally, they can't share a lot of information for you. Luckily, the birth father was able to share some information with our agency, which is how we found out so immediately that there were two babies.
Okay.
So we went like a whole day not knowing whether it was two boys, two girls, what were the
And it
birth
was two
weights.
boys, right?
Ended up being two boys, which the joke at the time was my husband was like, I highly doubt it's going to be two boys, probably going to be one of each, or maybe it's even going to be two girls, right? But he's like, on the off chance that it's two boys, I'll get you a girl dog. And I was like, okay, we can do this. I'll give you an update about the dog later on,
Okay.
because that's been a sticking point in my relationship. I still don't have the dog. Um,
Oh no.
so it's a joke. It's really just.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we went a whole day not knowing, and we went out the next because we woke up the next morning. We looked at each other and we're like, oh my God, like the room that we had put aside for the nursery, we had set it up, we had painted it, hung the furniture, like hung the pictures, like everything. This isn't work. You can't get two cribs in this room. We have
Oh,
to switch rooms because
yeah.
we went in and measured the wall space of my oldest son's room versus the nursery that was down the hall. And he's like, there's like 3 feet extra room in Braden's room. So I'm like, move them. So
Yeah.
we tore the rooms apart. I have pictures of like just stuff in the middle of every room, just like piled. We had to take apart
Ouch.
all the whole both the cribs.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
at the time it was one crib. We had to take everything apart, take everything down off the walls, switch the rooms, put it all back together. And then we looked at each other. It was like lunchtime. We got it all done. And
Oh
we're like,
wow.
oh my God, like we can't get, at the time, my oldest son was in like a high back booster. And I'm like, we can't get 3 car seats in I
Oh
had
no, you need a new
Santa Fe.
car.
Yeah. So I'm like, we need a new car. Like we
Oh
can't
my
get 3 car
gosh.
seats
Yeah.
in Santa Fe. Like it's not, we can't get three across the back, honey.
Yeah,
It's not
there's no
gonna work.
way. Yeah,
So
there's
we
no
went
way.
to Toyota dealership and by the end of that night, we had a brand new, not brand new, but we had a new Sienna in
Yeah.
the driveway, new to us,
Yeah.
pre-owned new Sienna in the driveway. And we had our nursery and Braden's new rooms both
So
set up.
Oh,
And then
switched.
she
all in
called us at
one
the end of that
day.
night and she was like, it's two boys. Here's the birth weights.
Oh
They're
my.
doing okay, but they were flown to a higher level NICU because of their situation and exposures and birth history and unknown twins and like all these things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They flew them to a level four floor NICU in Orlando.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
So at that point, we're like, oh my God, like I hope they're okay.
Yeah.
We were just like really worried about them.
Yeah.
So we get up the next morning and I had been like on Facebook Marketplace, like searching for like really cheap, like duplicate baby things, right? Because we needed another high chair. I needed a playpen. I needed a swing. Like all this stuff. I'm like,
You needed another crib,
Double of
right?
everything.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I'm like, oh my God, like I need my best friend was on Amazon that night buying me a second crib shipped to the
oh,
house. My husband and my son were putting it together in the room that morning. I went out after church, was grabbing stuff from Marketplace. And then she called us and I had pulled into the Kohl's parking lot because I was going to run in and look for any like clearance baby clothes, right? And
yeah.
she goes, I need you guys to sit down. Something happened. And we're like, what? And she's like, Mom left. She left AMA, which basically means against medical advice.
Yes.
And she had not signed yet.
Oh,
So what happens is, for those that are not aware, that means that the state can come in and
yes.
take the custody of the children and it's over.
Yeah.
So you lose the adoption. So we were like, all of a sudden we went from like 100,000,
Flying
like
high and
to
the
like
floor.
literally I was bawling, crying. Like I
Yeah.
was like, why would she? I came home sobbing. I was like, why would she leave them? Why would she do this to them?
Yeah.
She wanted us to have these babies. Like, why they're gonna get split up? Like, this isn't fair. Like, why can't we and help? Like, why can't we be there to help them? Like, why would she do this? And it was honestly one of the most gut wrenching moments of my life, aside from
Yeah.
the birth of my oldest son. Like, it still brings a lot of emotions back,
Yeah.
because it just felt like a complete and utter just gut punch, just
Yeah.
total gut punch. And I will never sit in a Kohl's parking lot again and take an agency phone call. I just have to say.
You've
No.
learned your lesson. No more
Oh
calls.
my God. And then over the course of like the next 3 hours, we're like, praying hard and we're asking our family to pray and we're just posting like on Facebook, we were like, please, village, we need your prayers. And then we
Yeah.
were just getting slow trickles of text messages like, we think we know where she is. She's answered our text. We're going to meet up with her. She's agreed to sign. She's signed, like just text messages coming in of just updates over the next like 3 hours. Finally
Mhm.
signed. They found her. They were able to track her down. They brought a folding chair out for her to sit down and she signed the paperwork.
That's
So
awesome.
they were able to get her to sign, thank the Lord,
Yeah.
because basically they made a deal with the Florida DCF and they said, give us 24 hours to find this mom before you turn
You're
over
lucky.
custody and take
Yeah.
over. We got lucky. We got
Yeah.
super
Very
lucky.
lucky that they even
Luckily,
let them do that because usually
yeah,
they just
because
right
most of the
in.
time with that situation, especially
Yeah.
when exposures are in play,
Yep.
they don't wait. They just jump right in. So
Yep.
we got really lucky, and especially with the boys, like it was really scary because they would have split them up because the boys
Yeah.
needed a lot. So when we finally got down to Florida, we drove in our Sienna with like totes of baby stuff in the back because like you long are they going to be in the NICU? Like, how long are we going to be in
Yeah.
state? How long is it going to take to be able to get approval to leave? Like, we had no idea. So we
What,
had our
how
car
much did
loaded.
each weigh?
I'm
Did you say
sorry.
how much did they weigh?
So our Jackson, our youngest, the oldest twin, actually, the smaller one, he was 4 pounds 9 ounces, which for twins is really good.
Yeah, it is.
And Matthew was 5 pounds 8 ounces.
Oh,
Mm,
they were
okay.
both good sized
I
babies then.
know they were early. They were
Yeah.
36 weeks. They think
Wow.
based on what they can calculate, they
Yeah.
were early, but and all in all, like they had some weight on their side, which in our experience against 2 pounds 9 ounces is a miracle.
Yeah.
So we were
Yeah.
like, we'll take it. Like that's awesome, right?
Yeah.
When we got there, the doctor sat us down and was like, here's everything you need to know. Like, here's all the real stuff. And we got all of it. And it was shocking.
Oh, wow.
We didn't know a lot when we first matched. And then when we got the news and everything, we were just learning things as they came in. And what we ended up finding out about their situation and what their needs were was shocking. Their withdrawal was out of control. They needed a lot of support. That's why they were flown to a level 4 NICU, and they were seeing every PT, OT, SLP, every specialist they could bring in.
Wow.
They had it all. Like that hospital, Nemours in Orlando, was incredible. Their team was incredible, and they held our hand through the whole thing.
Wow.
We got on the Braden couldn't come up because it was still during COVID. It was
Yeah.
2022 at that time.
Yeah.
And so he couldn't come up. So he was with us the whole time, which was beautiful, but he couldn't come and see them until they were finally discharged. So luckily, my parents drove down and they were able to help us with Braden,
Oh, that's
do
fun.
his virtual school and stay with him and sort of support us through that journey, which we were very grateful for. And we were also able to get a Ronald McDonald room
Oh,
attached to the hospital during the
yeah.
time when the twins were inpatient, which ended up being such a blessing. So I highly recommend anyone who has a child, a baby that they're adopting that's in the NICU, ask the agency, the placement agency, about what options they have for stay for the families because it really does make a difference.
Yeah.
And that really did help us because we ended up being in Florida for almost 4 weeks
Mhm.
total.
Because they
Um,
were, yeah, because they were
yeah,
in.
because then on top of it, you have to wait for ICPC, which for Florida to Maryland, it was about a week.
Okay.
And it's two babies, so it's a little bit
Yes.
more
Yeah.
paperwork
Yeah.
to review.
Yeah.
So we got off the elevator to go to the NICU, and immediately we just heard a baby screaming. And I was like, oh my God,
You're
that's one
like,
of
that's my baby's
I'm
crying.
like, that's one of ours. And she's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's baby B. And I was
Mhm.
like, yeah, oh boy, here we go. So we walk into the NICU, and I'll never forget this moment. The nurse greets us at the door and she goes, are you mom?
Mm-mm.
No.
Mm-mm.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was an amazing moment. That was a pretty amazing moment to get
Yeah.
at after everything we had been through with our son, waiting all the up and down the roller coaster, not thinking we would actually be there to see them, to finally be addressed as mom was
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
And I told that nurse, I said, I'll never forget the way that made me feel. So I,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Um, it was just such an amazing moment.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we got back there and I have video of us meeting them. It was such an emotional
Um,
moment. And even with my oldest son, like going through that, I never really fully connected with him immediately. It took time for me to like connect with him emotionally. For some
yeah.
reason, there was like a block there for me. I don't know what it was, but I think it might be that I was still recovering or seeing my child in that state in the NICU,
Yeah.
like,
It's
hooked up to
hard.
everything. It was really hard to like this is a baby, like, you
Also,
know,
you didn't know if he was going to make it or not, which
yeah.
probably you were protecting yourself from. I would
Maybe, I don't
think.
know. But there
Yeah.
was definitely a block of connection for at least a couple days to a week before I finally felt like I was connecting again with
Yeah.
Braden. With the twins, I don't know what it was, but it was like automatic, like immediate, like innate, powerful connection. Like, oh my, I'll never forget, like walking up to each of them. I walked up to Matthew first, baby B, the one that was screaming. That's the one that was screaming, by the way, Matthew. He still to this day he's a lot. Um, he's my busy boy. And he immediately calmed down and he was like looking up at me. Oh my gosh, like the connection was just incredible. And then they were like, wait, there's another one. And I was like, oh my God, there's another one. I like walked over to Jackson's bedside, baby A. And like, he's sleeping and he's a snorer. So he was like little snory sounds and stuff like that. And it was just like an immediate connection.
Yeah.
They let us hold them right away. Like, and every day we were in the hospital doing as much skin to skin and cuddling. And we were by the bedside, getting all the rounds with all the doctors and the nurses, getting all the information that we could, so that we could be their best advocate,
Yeah.
and we had done this before. We had been in the NICU before. This was like the platinum of
Yes.
NICUs, by the way. Like
Yeah.
they were in the same room in like this crazy huge suite with their own bathroom. I mean, I've
Wow.
never in my life experienced such a swanky NICU. It was really nice. So just the ability to have the flexibility to be with both of them in the same room,
Yeah.
and they were so open and available for questions and any hands-on we wanted to do, any care we wanted to do. They had a lot of ups and downs. They had a lot of withdrawal
Yeah.
and weaning to go through off their medicines that they were on to keep them comfortable. We had some other tests and things that they were running, a lot of blood work. So we had a lot of time. They were in the NICU while we were there for about 2.5 weeks, and then they were discharged on Valentine's Day, which
Oh,
was really
Oh,
cool.
that is
So
cool.
that was like really a cute moment.
the best
And they
Valentine's Day present ever.
Oh
Right?
my gosh, it was the best day ever. It was the best because finally our son got to run up and meet them.
Oh,
We
you
have
got this.
video. The photographer at the hospital took pictures of us just discharging with them and getting them in their little clothes and putting them in their car
Oh,
seat,
yeah.
going down the elevator with the agency social worker, our son running to us and him
Yeah.
seeing everybody. Oh, it was such a special moment.
Yeah.
So we got a
Oh,
lot of really cool moments captured on camera, which was really great. And then we spent a week in a double-sided hotel room with no kitchen. And I was
oh, goodness.
washing baby bottles in a bathroom sink.
Oh, fun.
And it was like a little mini fridge bar situation. Do
Yeah.
not recommend 0 out of 5 stars. Do not do that to yourself. Get yourself an Airbnb and a kitchen.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
yourself a favor. Also, get
Yeah.
yourself a room with a laundry.
Yeah.
I
That's
learned my lesson.
Yeah.
I'd learned my lesson,
I mean,
especially with
yeah,
twins.
because you had three kids and
Oh my
two.
God, it was awful. So like we were taking turns, like we had the babies in one room and then Braden in the other room, right? So, and we had the door in between the hotel rooms.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
Awful.
yeah,
And we would take turns. Like the one parent would go sleep with Braden to get some sleep for a couple of hours, and the other parent would sleep in the room with the twins and do all
yeah.
the feedings, and then we would switch and we
Mm.
just did shifts. Oh my God, the sleep deprivation. I don't remember really much from that point until like they were 4 months old.
Yeah, no, yeah,
You're just
Like
go, 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 constant.
it was nuts. And
yeah.
like so what the crazy thing was is they called us for ICPC and said you're finally approved. It ended up being like around President's Day.
Okay.
We were really worried like of getting out of there before the 3-day weekend because we're like, we cannot stay in this room one more minute. I'm gonna kill someone. Like I need to get out of here. I need to go home. And
Yeah.
they called us like Friday before President's
Oh,
Day. And
that's
it was like
lucky.
in the afternoon. They're like, you're approved, feel free to stay for the weekend or you can leave now. And I'm like, we're leaving
Oh,
now.
well, and you're waiting.
I'm like, I'm not staying. My husband's like, but honey, we're exhausted. We're not packed. I'm like, make it
Oh,
happen.
we are
Like,
gone.
pack up the car. Like, so we got packed up.
Yeah. Well,
We got,
besides the fact you probably wouldn't have been ready if you did wait on Monday.
oh my, yeah, I mean, we could have
Yeah.
waited an extra night. We could have gotten up the next morning and left, but I'm like, we're already tired. What
Yes,
does it matter? Like,
it
let's
doesn't
just go.
matter. Yeah.
So I think they called us at like 10 a.m. or something, and we were out of there by like 1 o'clock. Like
Well,
Mm.
we
you were really,
we were
I'm
booking it.
done and we're gone.
And then we drove home.
Yeah.
Took us 22 hours to drive home with
Oh my gosh.
it, yeah, with twins,
Oh my gosh.
feeding in our laps. It was winter driving back. So
Oh,
like the cold, it was progressively getting colder as we were driving home. So
yeah.
we would be sitting in the warm car, like feeding them on our laps. It Do not do this. Highly do not recommend. Like, but also my
Mhm.
husband was like, let's book a room halfway and I'm like, but it's just going to make it worse because then we're going
Yeah.
to have to get
Gotta
everything out of the car and
unpack
then set everything up
everybody.
and
Mhm.
then be sleep deprived even more and then pack it all back up again. I was like,
Yeah.
we might as well just keep going and
Yeah.
just
Hmm.
suck it up. Just get there.
Hmm.
It was awful.
Yeah, just
I
get
don't
to
know
the
how we did it.
destination.
We were a little younger then. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I think that has that has something to do it. And in those circumstances, I think the only thing you could say is it was God.
Hmm.
and
God
adrenaline
helped
and
you get
just,
that, yeah, get you to from point A to
yeah.
B in.
And we just wanted to get the boys home so that we could sleep in our own bed and get settled and like really start to help them heal and
Yeah.
be bonding and comfortable. And that was really, the big goal was to get them home so that we could all be settled because no
Yes.
one was really settled until we finally got home.
Yeah.
And we just did it in shifts and we would, I would go to sleep from 6 p.m. to about 1 or 2 in the morning. So he would do the evening shift and
Okay.
let me sleep for several hours. And then I would get up at like 2 in the morning and then he would sleep until he had to leave for work. And so we would just tag team. Once he started going back to work more regularly, then I was getting up
Mhm.
at midnight. And,
Yeah.
so he could get a little bit more sleep because he was driving and I didn't want him to be
Yeah.
driving when he was so tired.
Yeah. Work. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then, my oldest son, like I would just get him on the bus, with the twins and I was just, just trenching it, just,
Yeah.
Hmm.
lots of DoorDash and heat up meals. One of my really good friends ended up doing a meal train for us. So when we got home, like we had meals being delivered for a few
Oh,
weeks,
that's
which was such a
awesome.
godsend. Highly
Yeah.
That's
recommend,
amazing.
10 out of 10. Definitely recommend doing that. But yeah, that journey with the twins was intense. And of course, like all their, doctor appointment follow-ups. And we ended up going through the subsidy process with them, which for those that don't know, if you adopt and you decide, that your children have some needs that are going to need a lifetime, a need
Medical help and
support.
stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're going to need support and resources for a long period of time. You can
Yeah.
apply for subsidy. It took us 2 years, 2.5 years to go through that process. It
Okay.
was very painful. I understand why a lot of people give up. They do not make
Yeah,
it
they do.
easy.
Well,
Luckily,
that isn't that the reason they make it hard is so
they make
people
it
would
super
give up,
hard.
right? They
Hmm.
want you to
But
give up.
for some of these kids, they need the resources. And
Yeah.
I just felt very strongly that Jackson in particular needed something. I wasn't sure what it was, but I was like something, and I didn't know for Matthew, like with all their history, like who knows what will change down the road.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
didn't feel comfortable not leaving that stone unturned.
Yeah.
And so we pursued it, and we found out at 9 months old that Jackson ended up having a neurodevelopmental genetic condition that is exceptionally rare. It
Wow.
affects every area of his life. It's something that is passed on through the X chromosome from birth mom. No one knew about it.
Mhm.
Very rare. It's like 5,000 people ever have been
Oh
diagnosed
my
with.
gosh.
Wow.
And we ended up finding out about it because I was like, something's not right here. And one of the doctors said to me, it looks like he has like Down syndrome.
Hmm.
And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And
Hmm.
Hmm.
he doesn't have, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, fine. I'll agree. Let's do some genetic testing. It wasn't that at all. It was
Yeah.
something called Fragile XE, not not Fragile X.
Okay.
It's not that at all, but they call it Fraxy.
Okay.
And it's a very, very rare X chromosome neurodevelopmental genetic condition. He now is getting a ton of support. He has an IEP. He has private therapy. The subsidy has helped with all of that. And
Yeah.
honestly, like that has changed our trajectory for advocating for him.
Yeah.
And of course, now Matthew is having some needs now in school. Now that he's getting towards that preschool age, now he's
Yeah.
starting to have some needs in school. So we are now addressing Matthew's needs in the IEP process. But
Yeah.
they're both thriving. They're going to be
Oh,
4
that's
at the
great.
end of January. They're both thriving. They're happy. They're mischievous.
Hmm.
So smart. Oh my God,
Mhm.
they're so smart. It's scary how smart they are. They're
Yeah.
adorable. They love their mamas. Boys love their mamas. They do. They love their older brother to death. My oldest has been such a great helper, amazing big brother.
Yeah.
It's just been really cool to see them grow and thrive and change. And when I think about what could have happened to them,
Yeah.
it just like I'm just so grateful that like it
Yeah.
all happened the way that it did, and it was definitely meant to happen because when they were 2.5, when we finalized their adoption at the end of September. They were about little over 2.5 years old. This was last year,
Okay.
end of September, so
Hmm.
2024. We got a call the next day about Jacob. They
Okay.
called us the next day and
Yeah.
said she's pregnant again with a
Hmm.
full biological sibling. And I was like,
Wow.
hold on a second. I need to sit down. Like my knees are
Yeah.
really like I can't feel my legs. So like
There's gonna be a
seriously, like
problem here. I gotta breathe.
after all of this, like after 2.5 years of getting them through the subsidy process and everything else, now you're telling me there's another one. Are you
Another one.
kidding
And so
me?
then in your mind, you're just like, oh my gosh, am I gonna have to do all this? But you laid the groundwork, so now you know what to do.
We
So
knew we knew what to expect, but
yeah,
good Lord, we were not. I mean, I always knew there was a possibility that there could be a sibling down the road.
yeah.
I
Hmm.
did not think it would actually happen. I kept like saying, no, it's not going to happen. That we'll never do that. We're
You
so
always think it'll
independent. Like,
never happen to you until it does.
Well,
exactly.
because Alyssa's adopted, so she's my oldest. Um, and I always look back because if we wouldn't have got her, I have her biological sibling also. They're
Amazing.
they're
Hmm.
10 and a half months apart. So I had what they
Wow.
call
Yeah.
Irish twins.
Yep.
So I
Hmm.
yeah, I started, what was I, 24, 25. I had 4 kids in 5 years.
Oh my
I
gosh.
adopted. So I got
That's
the two
amazing.
girls. Yeah, I was done by 30. 29, I was
And
done.
I'm sure like
So
for you guys, like how amazing it is to be with your biological, is it your
Yeah.
sister or your
Yeah,
brother?
it's
the
my
sister,
sister, yeah.
sister,
I mean,
and that's
wow.
the thing. They called us because I don't know. Maybe you can touch on this, but I kind of, after we had Alyssa, I kind of felt like there was another one out there coming, and so
Mm.
I had started preparing paperwork and looking at different things. And my husband's like, I just naturally assumed that, one day I'd be home from work, the agency would call saying they had another baby. She had another baby. Do you want the baby? That's how it played out.
It's exactly what
He
happened.
he was home from work for some reason, and the agency called, said she had another baby. Would we be willing to take her? And we
Jeez.
we looked at each other and we're like, yes, yes. And
Duh.
they they go.
Yeah.
The agency said no. Hang up, think about it, and call us back.
Right.
And
That's what our
so
agency said too. They said,
yeah,
just don't decide anything
yeah,
today. Think about it, take the weekend,
yeah,
let us know. And I'm
yeah.
like,
And
but part of me just wants to say yes right now because
well,
I
but
Hmm.
knew,
that's the
I just
thinking.
knew he
Yeah.
was I didn't know it was a boy, another
Yeah.
boy. Joke's on me, boy mom, you know.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
You're
I kind of had that same feeling of like, I
mhm.
kind of knew that it could happen. I kind of had that in the feeling in the back of my mind. Like I always prepared myself for that day that I could get that phone call, but I
Yeah,
always pushed it aside because I was like, that's not, that's not going to
yeah,
happen. Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
we're done. You know, that's
yeah,
not possible.
yeah. Yeah,
Um,
you don't know. And we literally hung the phone up, looked at each other, and picked it back up and called them.
Yeah.
So we didn't wait. We just said, I'm like,
Amazing.
I could not later in life say, oh yeah, they asked if we would take
And we
care of
said
it.
no.
Yeah,
That's
I couldn't,
exactly what we said.
right?
Mhm.
I
I
couldn't
said
do
to my
it.
husband, like we talked about it for like 2 or 3 days. We prayed a lot,
Yeah,
called some family, you know, just we wanted to have time to think about it and really
yeah,
make, because at that point we had 3 kids. We had been through a lot of stuff.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like financially also, it's important to make sure that you can provide for the
yes,
kids that you have and give them
yeah,
everything they deserve, everything that they need. And for our kids, they had a lot of needs. I'm not
yeah,
gonna lie,
Mhm.
like they did. And we were concerned about what that would mean for resources and being able to provide everything that they needed.
yeah,
We wanted to be fair. We don't want to be like, well, you know, we took care of your brothers and then all of a sudden you showed up and here you go. You know, like we
yeah.
wanted to make every child of ours got
Special, yeah, and give
everything
them
that they needed,
everything.
right?
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
wanted to be very sure that, you know, this was not in our plan. We hadn't been saving. In fact, we
Yeah.
had started looking for a new house. Um,
Okay.
you know, like we had even
Yeah.
put offers on houses and they just never worked out. We kept saying like, why isn't this working out? Well, we weren't ready to move yet because there was another one coming.
Yes. We
Mhm.
have
And
one
we didn't
left.
know.
Well,
We had no idea.
and Alyssa with hers, um, which I think is okay, but her birth
Yeah, it's
mom
fun.
was addicted to drugs too.
Same with our situation.
So she was born with cocaine in her system and marijuana and all of that. Um, her withdrawals were horrific.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
she
it's
was
hard to watch.
she was my first my my very first, and I'm like
NAS
I
baby.
yeah, and I always
Mhm.
remember giving having my husband take her for like 5 minutes and I would just cry. I
Yep.
mean, literally just
There's nothing you
bawl.
can do.
No, and
There's
then bring
nothing you
her
can do.
back because she would scream in pain. The only thing that I could do, and I always, everyone gets a kick from the story, but what helped her is I'd have to hold her really tight because she was a preemie and she was only
Yep.
16 inches long and three
Oh,
pounds. She was
It
the
is little, little.
teeniest
you
little
miracle
thing.
baby. You're a
Yeah,
Yeah.
miracle. You know
yeah.
that? You're a miracle.
And
She
I don't know how they did it.
no,
They
Amazing.
crazy.
That's
she
incredible.
was so teeny. And by the time we got
Wow.
her, she was 8 pounds, but still very short. I mean, her head was here and her butt would just be here. She was like so small. But I
Mhm.
would hold her to my chest as tight as I could to
Yep.
give her
Lots of pressure.
safety and then jump up and down. For some reason, that was the only
The
thing
vestibular, yes.
that was the only thing
Yes.
that could soothe her
Yeah.
when
That's
she was like that.
Yeah,
So,
my twins have a lot of vestibular sensory seeking and avoiding behaviors.
yes, yes,
And they need a lot. Like my son, my one son, Jackson, he runs. It's weird. He runs from one couch to the other couch, and he just bounce, bounce, bounce,
yeah,
bounce. And it's like a ping pong. Like he just goes.
yes,
And I let him do what he needs to do.
yes,
Aside from tripping and falling over himself on the
yeah,
floor, which he has
yeah.
also done. He's very accident prone. My little Jackson. Oh my God, poor
Okay.
baby.
Yeah.
But I know he needs, so like I give him lots of tight squeezes and
Yeah.
you know we do lots of cuddling and lots of sensory stuff and he's got a lot of that happening. So yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that, like vestibular, that the nervous system is just the way that
Shot.
they described it to me is the nervous system is just so like all
Hypersensitive.
the time. And
And that's her too. She's 31 now. So but she still is very anxious
Yeah.
yeah.
and has all that never went away. Her sister that's biological, the birth mom, slowed down on the drugs but drank. And so um my second one, her sister, she's autistic and has, you know, blindness, and I mean she can see but she's partially, but
Oh,
she's
poor
had
baby.
so many issues. And the problem with her is that I think it's harder because she realizes she's different
Yeah.
and wants to have all the same things as everybody else has.
Yeah.
but everything is a lot harder for her to
Harder.
get. And
That's what
so
I'm worried about with
yeah,
Jackson.
and this is what I told her, is that I want everything that everybody else has for her. I go, but you've got to know that it's going to take you longer to get it.
Yeah,
But I still think you can do whatever or
absolutely.
accomplish whatever you want.
That's,
I mean,
yeah.
I was told when she was in third grade by the counselor there that she would never progress past a third grade level in anything, reading, anything, development, anything. Let me tell you that I didn't buy that, what they were selling, and I fought for her every single year. And she graduated with a high school diploma with her class and all
Amazing.
that stuff.
But that's why
And
that advocacy as a
yeah,
parent, I think one of the things they don't tell you when you're adopting is how important the advocacy for your
yeah,
child is going to be,
yeah,
because you have to be in there, you have to be a 100% in their court.
yeah,
You have to be a part of their team because they need you.
yes,
You know,
they
they
totally
already
do.
the blocks were already stacked on the other side. So you have to help them
Yes,
know that they can move the blocks so that they can
yeah,
get there. Like they
yeah,
have to have you there. And that's
yeah,
why for me, like, the advocacy and like seeing all the doctors and the specialists and like getting them the support that they need and recognizing the people that are a part of that support system is huge for me, because I
yeah,
very much realize I can't do it all on my own. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a
yes,
SLP. I'm not an OT. I'm not a special educator, but I can advocate for all those things and
yes,
I can make sure that I have a really good team.
yes, yes,
So I mean, it sounds like you have done that for both of
yeah.
the girls, and that's just
Hmm.
incredible.
Yeah, I mean,
Awesome.
when they were younger, um, autism and stuff wasn't a huge thing as it is now because
Yeah,
although she doesn't look it, she's 31. And so,
Yeah.
and her sister's
that's totally okay. Just
yes,
embrace it.
I know.
It's
Yeah,
totally
I
it
okay
always
to
tell
is.
her
not
that.
look 31.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's
I'll
what I
take
told her.
it.
That's what I told her. I
Do
go,
take it.
you'll hit a certain age where you're going to be really thrilled that people think you look that
Oh my
age.
God,
So,
yes. Be like,
Hmm.
and tell me more.
yes.
And tell
Yeah.
me more.
And so her sister's just, like I said, 10 and a half months younger, but they didn't have diagnosis like that, autistic and stuff. And so that's why every single year in school, I'd have to go in front of a board of people to fight to get her what she needed.
Yeah,
I think it's a little bit easier maybe now, but it's never 100% easy,
it's never easy.
especially when you don't understand it all. You know what I mean? So, like, okay, I have a child that needs help. Who's going to help me? Luckily, Kathy, who's the founder of this agency, is my mother. I'm the oldest of her 10 children. She's adopted eight. And I have siblings that have learning disabilities and stuff like that. So she kind of gave me uh, direction as far as
Amazing.
fighting with certain things, but and telling me because she had to do it herself. But
Yeah,
you're right as far as being an advocate, and I feel like that's as a parent across the board has to be right. Whether you're an
100%.
adoptive parent or biological, it doesn't
Yep.
matter. You need to. I was always shy, quiet, didn't like attention. You couldn't tell that now, but
Yeah.
that's how I was. And
Yep.
this beautiful thing is why I could no longer be that way, So I had to
Your
be,
kids force you to
yes,
kind of get out of your comfort zone and
yep,
do what needs to be done.
yes. And to be that advocate for them and make sure that they get what they deserve and they need.
Absolutely, because they all deserve
Yeah,
all the things they deserve, and that was exactly what I felt like. I wanted to make sure that if I said yes to Jacob, I didn't know it was Jacob, but
yeah,
if I said yes to Jacob, I was 100,000% on board. There was no turning back. There was no
yeah,
uncertainty. There was no regret. I was there. Like,
yeah.
Hmm.
and
No
that's the thing
matter
is
what.
for me,
Yeah,
like when I say commit, when I commit, I commit. Like
yeah,
I'm
Hmm.
not,
yeah,
and so I think that was one of the things we were very adamant about, is making sure that when we said yes, we meant it.
yes,
Because,
yeah,
and the other thing too is like you kind of touched on this before, is we said to each other, like, how crappy would it sound, for lack of a better phrase,
mhm,
would it, we were given the opportunity to adopt your brother, And then
Yeah.
we just decided we didn't want to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Like,
couldn't do it. Yeah, I
I'm
couldn't
like, come on
imagine.
now, I can't. So that's why I was
Yeah.
like, I could not live with myself.
Yeah.
I could not live with that reasoning of like, we had the opportunity, we could have
Yeah.
made it work. We weren't destitute. It was a little bit of a struggle at first, but we figured it out, you
Yeah.
know, whatever the reasoning was, but
Yeah.
like to say no for no real good reason
Yeah.
just felt silly.
Yeah.
We know now that
Mhm.
we're done now.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
have four boys
Yeah.
now,
And you're like,
and
that's plenty.
we're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
We did end up moving to a bigger house
Okay.
because once Jacob's adoption was finalized, I'm like, we need to get out of here. Like
Yeah.
this house is not working. We don't even have our yard was like a postage stamp.
Oh,
The
yeah.
kids couldn't even run and play.
Yeah.
Jackson is I call him my flight risk. Like he will just book it towards the street and he will
Oh,
make
that's
friends
scary.
with anyone. He'll jump in the
Oh,
car with the FedEx guy.
oh,
He knows
that's
no
scary.
stranger, which
Yeah.
is
Mm.
terrifying for me as a mother
Yeah.
because you're
Yeah.
there, but then I'm telling you, one minute he literally rode his little train down the road of our new neighborhood and
Yeah.
was probably going 5 miles an hour.
Oh my
And I
God.
was
Oh
like, oh
wow.
my God, stop him. And I couldn't run after him. I had a 22
Yeah.
pound baby on my hip. So I'm sending my oldest son down the street to get him. But it's like,
Yeah. Catch,
despite your
catch
best
up, catch
efforts
him.
as a mom,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
your kids are still going to need
Yeah.
support. Like you
Yeah.
can't do it all. So it's like, I'm like, I think I'm good now. I've reached my limit of like
Yeah.
Mm.
knowing how much I can handle boy wise. I'm good.
Yeah.
And Clay and my husband and I have already decided that like if they were to ever call us again, we would say, please give us the name of the family you choose
Hmm.
for this
So
child.
you can have contact.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is wild about this whole story is, we also didn't know about Jacob. We didn't know his weight. We didn't know his gender. We didn't know anything until about
Hmm.
a month before he was born. The birth mom got into an altercation and ended up in the ER. We
Wow.
thought she was going to go into preterm labor. It was very scary. We weren't even done our home study yet because we had to rush
Yeah.
through the home study process. Like within 2.5 months, not even 2 months, we were
It's
home.
amazing what you can do when motivated, right?
I'm telling you, well, and the
Mhm.
agencies were like 100% on board. You tell us when
Hmm.
to go, we will go. We will push the gas pedal as hard as we can. As soon as we
Yeah.
get stuff from you, we're moving forward.
Yeah.
Like they
Mhm.
were
And that's great.
100% on board supporting us because of the sibling situation,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
they were willing to do whatever they could to help us. So like we
Yeah.
were very fortunate that they were all in our court. But like we got the call that like she was in the hospital and they're like, well, they did do another scan to check the baby and they did find out the gender. Do you want to know? And I was
Hmm.
like, duh, of course I want to
Yeah,
know.
of
Like
course.
ultimate planner here. Like, yes,
Yeah.
I want to know.
You
And
need to
she's like,
know.
it's another boy. And I was like, yeah. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, but
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Not
You're like, I
really.
got everything for a boy, though.
You know what? He was 100% meant to be. I don't regret a second of it. He is the sweetest baby. He is so different from the twins. It is,
Yeah.
and even the twins are so different from each other.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like even his needs, like we were in the hospital with, like I was in the hospital with him with Jacob a lot, and he did go through withdrawals, but he was like Superman. Like he went never stepped back. He weaned every single day. He took every single feed. Like the guy
Wow.
was rocking it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this kid's amazing. And
Yeah.
he has not shown, I don't know how, but he has not shown us any concerns
Wow.
so
Mm.
far at
That's
all.
nice.
Like
Yeah.
he is cruising, he's trying to walk, he is climbing, he is eating. I mean, he is growing.
How old is he now?
He's 10 months now.
Oh, he's still a peanut. Oh my
He's
gosh, how
still
cute.
little, but he ain't little. He's
Oh
22
no, you
pounds.
said he was like
He's a
28
big
Yeah.
or
boy.
something.
Yeah, he's a big boy. So, but he is adorable. He's such a sweet boy. He's such a sweet little thing. Every time I take him out, everybody loves him.
Yeah.
Such a sweet little smile. I mean, and he honestly, like, I always I look at my husband sometime, I'm like, can you imagine life without Jacob? And he's like, no,
Yeah.
I really can't. And I was like, me neither. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
it might have been calmer,
Yeah.
maybe,
Maybe.
just the boys is not really that calm. But I'm like,
No.
it might have been a little quieter. We might have had more sleep,
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
sometimes I'm still up in the middle of the night in this point in my life.
Yeah.
But like, I can't imagine life without
Yeah.
him. I really can't. And honestly, I don't regret a second of it. I
Yeah.
really don't.
Well,
And
yeah.
I was meant to have boys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Certainly made the clothing situation a lot easier.
well, see, and that's what I was
Yeah,
gonna
for
say.
sure.
That's what I was gonna say. I had two girls and then two boys. We adopted two boys after that. So,
Wow.
and not none of them are alike. All of them have
Yep.
needed their own form of help through school or this or that. And the thing is no matter what, they're my children, and I'm more than willing and able to do whatever it takes for them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? As a parent, that's what you sign up for, right? Whatever
Yeah.
they're going to need, you make sure you go out and get it. So,
Yep.
and
Yep.
you would not change 1 second for any of it.
Nope. Not
Yep.
at all.
So,
Not at
no,
all.
do it all over again.
Yeah. So, right now our life is pretty crazy. It's very,
Yeah.
very busy. Our house is
Yeah.
very active. It's only quiet right now because all the kids are in school. Our twins are in a day program, thank
Hmm.
goodness,
Yes.
to give me a little bit of a break, but also the
Hmm.
socialization piece is very important.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
Jacob ended up going down for a nap, thank God. So, like, it's
It
only
worked
quiet
out.
now because of happenstance, but most of
Yes.
the time our house is very, very active,
Yeah.
very loud. But I mean, like, I watch my husband with our boys. Like, he is 100% meant to be a boy
Yeah.
dad. Like, he
Yeah.
loves it. Like, he gets
Yes.
all excited about all the boy things the way they do.
Yeah.
Our oldest loves being a big brother. He's such a great helper with them, and
That's
helping
awesome.
me.
Yeah.
And I've just embraced staying home and just being
Yeah.
mom, and I'm okay with it. Like,
Yeah.
my life has changed completely, but
Yeah.
like I'm totally like I can't imagine what life was like before that because like I had a full-time job, I had a career,
Yeah.
like Braden was in full-time infant daycare. We were spending a fortune on his daycare, and then COVID
Yeah.
happened, and our essentially COVID and the adoption changed our lives
Lives
completely.
completely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't change a thing,
Yeah.
not at all.
That's
So
amazing. So do
it's just
you,
been a wild journey. It's been a wild journey, but like I frequently will meet people virtually over like Facebook support groups and things like that.
yeah.
And I've designed like a fundraising grant, like Google spreadsheet that I will share with people,
Oh, that's awesome.
and just connect with them over like Facebook Messenger, which is like
Yeah.
the PM, private
Yeah.
messaging.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've just met some amazing people, and we still keep in contact. Like I had this girl reach out to me the other day saying she just got a call about a sibling
Oh,
from
wow.
the child that she adopted that I help her raise money for. So it's just
Yeah.
like it
Wow.
has come full circle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just, so I always tell my husband, like, one day this is going to be my job is
Yeah.
working with adopting families.
Yeah.
It's going to be my job and I'm going to do it and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Um, but until then, I am mom, and
Yes.
I'm okay with that. So
Yeah.
it's totally okay. And
Yeah.
I realize that that's a lot of this is faith and realizing that like you know there's a plan in place for your life, but you don't really know what that plan is. And then when you get that a plan, you just have to embrace it and say, okay, let's
Yeah.
go. What do you got
Yeah.
next? Like
Yeah.
I'm trusting, I am believing, I am in faith, and I am believing that there is a reason that all of this is happening and it's leading me to a greater purpose. And my husband and I, like, we've had this epiphany that like the reason we went through all the crap we went through with our oldest son, the trauma, the health issues, the scares. We thought we were going to lose him. We were in the PICU. He was on life support. Like he coded in my
Yeah.
arms in the
Oh
hospital.
my
That's
I had to
goodness.
terrible.
watch them resuscitate him and try to intubate him 3 times, and they failed every single time. It
Yeah.
was absolutely gut wrenching. I literally had my lifeless child's body in my arms, and I still have PTSD from
Yeah.
going under emergency surgery. I still have those flashbacks. And
Yeah.
I think like what was the point of all of those bad things? And it was because he was preparing me
Yeah.
for something else. All of
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
that was preparation for welcoming these boys,
Yeah.
being prepared for the scary things they had,
Yeah.
all the withdrawals, the scary circumstances of their, birth and their history and their
Yeah.
trauma too, because
Yeah.
adoption is trauma.
Yeah.
They're losing a sense of their family and who they are and having to sort of not come to terms without not even knowing,
Yeah.
and so like then helping them as little boys go through all of that, like all of that was part of the plan. All of it was
Yeah.
part of the
Hmm.
plan. I'm in full belief that it was,
Yeah.
and for better or for worse, we are embracing it and realizing that like we've been given an opportunity to not only share our story, but be a resource for other people who, are just starting the journey or may need support on that journey or whatever the case may be.
Yes.
So that's kind of where we are now. And aside from a crazy house, we're trying to enjoy every minute we can while they're little. If there's
Yeah.
a minute, maybe with a glass of wine, who knows?
Yeah. See,
And
that's all you can.
just
Well,
just
and
enjoy it.
yeah, because it goes by fast. Everybody
It
says that,
goes
but it
so
does.
fast. Like I can't believe
So
we're going to be four. Like
yeah,
it
it's like
boggles
a
my
blink of
mind.
an eye, and then they're 31 or
It's
30,
crazy.
or it's like your babies are gone.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So that happens. Okay, so we're going to wrap up, and I appreciate you sharing your story.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you, is there anything that any advice you would give to an adoptive family who's looking into adoption, that you wish you would have known when you started?
Curb your expectations.
A good one.
What I mean by that is I thought being a mom, I thought like I'm gonna get this beautiful little baby with this cute little pink bow. I wanted a girl. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought I was gonna get this perfect little girl, this perfect little baby. I knew exactly what I thought I wanted.
Yeah.
I didn't get it at all. That's not what I got.
Yeah.
That's not what was the plan for me.
Yeah.
And I had to learn to accept the fact that what I thought I wanted was not what I was going to receive. That
Yeah.
what I was going to receive is better than what I thought I wanted.
Yeah.
And was going to challenge me more than I thought that I could have wanted. I had to really curb my expectations. I had to really understand what substance exposure, what NAS, what neonatal abstinence syndrome really did to a child,
Yeah.
what it really takes to get through that, what bloodborne diseases really means. Do research and really understand, like, yes, there are some that are super scary. You mentioned alcohol. That's a big one that is honestly a very scary substance. But
Yeah.
there are other substances that actually, like, these kids thrive and they do really great things and they're super smart, but they do
Yeah.
need some support,
Yeah.
So it's like, I think curbing your expectations and understanding that what you think you want is probably not what you're going to get. And you have to be very open minded to the idea that, like, you need to be prepared for anything and everything because
Yeah.
you really don't know how it's all going to shake out.
Yes.
And you don't have control over that. I think I thought I had control. I thought if I could put my name at a couple different agencies and spread the wealth and have more choice, and I could look over all the files and make sure I liked everything I read.
Yeah.
But even if I thought it was in the file and I knew what I was saying yes to, I didn't know until baby came and they were there, and then I got the real information.
Yeah.
And then I
Hmm.
really realized what the situation was. You
Yeah.
have to be willing to understand that you're kind of going into this half blind,
Yeah.
and but it's the most beautiful, amazing journey. You just have to be willing to understand that you're probably not going to get what you think you're going to get.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that was really
Yeah.
hard for me because I am a type A planner. I want
Control.
control, and I also have anxiety,
Yeah.
and I really had a hard time waiting and being in control of the process. I had to let go,
You
and
do.
not,
Yeah.
and I couldn't be in, like, even with Jacob, like I tried to, how's she doing today? Do you think he's going to come today? Do you think I should book? I was trying to control every way that this could shake out, and I couldn't.
Yeah,
And
with
I had to
adoption,
learn.
you have to know you have no control. You
I
can't.
have
There's
no, yeah,
nothing.
and that's really hard because
Yeah.
it's a very emotional and very anxiety ridden process because you have no control.
No.
It takes you
You're
out of your
you're
comfort zone,
yeah, you're very vulnerable
very vulnerable.
in that state.
And
So
and honestly, it will test you if you're in a relationship with someone, and you're going into this in a relationship as a couple. It will test you as a couple because it will bring out that side of both of you,
yeah,
and it will make you, like, it'll make you realize, like, can we be stronger in this together, and how can
yeah,
we support each other.
yeah,
And honestly, it ended up being a really good thing for our marriage because it
yeah.
actually made us stronger. I mean, we're not perfect. No one is.
No,
Everyone's
no.
human, but like all of that together is really about curbing your expectations and realizing that like you do not have control. And I hear all the time from people say, well, we don't want a child that's been exposed, or we don't want this, or we only
Yeah.
want a
Mhm.
female, or we only, and I'm like, dude, like,
It's
no.
not a grocery store.
Like it's
That's not how it
what
works.
I say is good luck because you're going to be
Yes.
waiting a while. That's what I say.
Well,
And I don't
but
mean that in a mean way, but a lot of
no,
people end up waiting a long time because they want certain things. And a
but
lot of times you can't make the perfect thing happen all the time
well,
because we're
even
human.
biologically, you can't. There's
Yeah.
certain things you don't know,
No.
right? You know, they
Yeah,
can
like
be born.
Jackson and
Yeah,
his genetic condition. Like we
yeah,
had no idea. No,
yeah.
and she's
You don't
had
know.
so Jacob is either the sixth or the seventh child that she has. So they have at least 2 to 4 other half siblings out there. And in fact, we met one. They were
Mhm.
adopted by a couple in the Netherlands. They have a half sister in the
Oh
Netherlands
wow, wow.
that was adopted.
Yeah.
And even they had no idea that there was this genetic history that they should be aware of, that their
Hmm.
daughter could be a carrier of the same exact chromosomal genetic
Yeah.
condition that
That was
Jackson has
beneficial. Yeah, that's
because it's
beneficial. You
passed
found
through the
it.
female
Yeah.
line. So
Wow.
just when you think you know,
Yeah.
you can get all the medical records. You don't know.
Yeah.
You really don't. And I'm
Mm,
still surprised by my boys all the
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's the
I
nature of
thank
it.
you. Yeah, I thank you for all the information you've shared and your
Of
story.
course.
Um, yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah. You
I
went
mean,
through a
Sometimes
you
lot
go through a
and
lot.
sometimes I'm wondering like how I'm still saying what I'm saying because I'm just like,
No,
oh my
no,
God, did
you
we go through all that? That's and my
yeah,
husband and I keep saying like someday we're gonna write a book.
yeah,
Like,
that would be great. I
yeah,
think people hearing your story will just, learn to just
yeah,
embrace the unexpected and you just
yeah,
gotta get through it. So I
yeah.
think it's
And it
great
and it
that,
can be the most beautiful, wild, exciting
yeah. I can.
journey. It
yeah.
It's
really can.
amazing.
It truly, truly can. But it also is scary.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm fully aware how scary it was.
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
So,
my daughter always is like, Mom, I don't know how you raised four that close together. And I'm like, one, there's really no pictures of me during that period of time.
amen.
And
Yeah.
I lived with a perm. I had a perm. I go, that's how I didn't fix my
Yeah.
Oh,
hair
you're
and there's no
forgetting
photos.
coffee and
No.
Yeah.
wine.
Yes.
That's like
Just all
that's
those
like my
little
mantra.
extra things.
Yeah, yes.
Coffee in the morning, iced tea in the afternoon, wine in the evening.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Give or take a day,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
mom has to have her fuel
Something. Yeah.
Yeah.
and
I
self-care.
yeah, I feel like I didn't sleep for probably 10 years.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm
So,
excited to finally sleep in past like 8 o'clock. That would be nice.
yeah.
Hmm.
And then I had diapers in the house for like forever.
Yeah, we still are knee deep in
Yeah,
diapers.
you have a 10-month-old, so that'll be a while.
Oh, the twins are not even, I'm not even going to go there. That's like
Okay.
been a process. But again, with you think you
Yeah,
know that they're going to be potty trained by 3 and a half.
yeah. You
They're
have to
not.
be okay with it if they're not.
And they're,
So,
and not only are sometimes boys harder to potty train than girls,
yeah.
but also like with the history and everything
Yeah.
else, like they're just not ready. They're
Well,
different.
you can't, yeah, and you can't compare them to kids
Nope.
that were ready because every child's different,
Exactly.
right? So,
Hmm.
Yeah. But
yeah.
yeah,
Well, thanks again. I'm going to
Yeah.
have Alyssa close us out, and we appreciate you taking your time and coming on the podcast. And I'm glad we rescheduled so we have more time.
Yeah.
absolutely. Me too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. You are really just rock star mom. You got through all of it and you're still going. And I think people will really appreciate hearing that it's not easy. I mean, we know it's
No,
not
it's
easy,
not. It's
but
not easy. It
just
is,
gotta,
trust me, it is not easy. Anyone that says it's easy is,
Lying, probably.
yeah.
yeah, they're putting up a front because it is not. Raising kids is hard
Yeah.
work.
But worth it.
Especially with all your surprises. You
Oh
truly are
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I think,
We've just tried to embrace it as much as we can. That's all you can do.
yeah.
All you can do. And we have a
Yeah.
fantastic support system, which makes a huge difference. Huge difference.
Yes. Yes, that's
So
always a
thank
bonus.
you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then anyone out there who wants to adopt or wants a place for adoption or just wants to learn more, you can visit our website at www.activeloveadoptions.com.
Thanks again.
Thank you
Have a
so
good
much.
weekend.
Take care.
Okay, see you.